So as the 420 shows are quickly approaching, I mean, it's already 4-2. 420 is going to be here before you know it, and Phish has played some shows before on 420. I don't really know necessarily if that was like a big thing in pop culture or not in 1991. That was the two shows that I looked at. Alumni Blues Letter to Jimmy Page played both nights. You know, No Light Up, Leave Me Alone. You know, not a lot of obvious indications like some of you have mentioned here recently on the channel in the comments. Antelope, songs like this. You know, I felt strong about A Blaze On. So anyhow, let's get back to the show in Rochester. Wish it was Rochester, kind of like Rogue. Could be Rochester. So on this night, they opened up with Runaway Jim, but then really, you know, let's fast forward all the way to the end of the first set. I learned some things here tonight. They get to the YEM, and man, I mean, if this was a YEM, like everyone back then at that point was just completely a monster. And kind of why it was just a song that defined them there in the early 90s. Well, anyways, like if this one was played today, man, people would just be carrying on about it. It would have its own separate blog, maybe its own separate video on this channel, perhaps. So at the end, I wouldn't even have known it really if I hadn't seen the notes on .net. But at the vocal jam, they drift into something called "Setting Sail," which was a song written by Tom and Trey apparently, and it's part of the vocal jam. And then Fishman just starts shouting out the lyrics to that, and the vocal jam kind of comes and goes with it. I think probably when this show was very first played, it was just YEM Vocal Jam. Then they did it a few more times, and then I think the final time they did it, they only played it like 4 times. I played it, you know, it was only performed 4 times. And the fourth and final time, I think Fishman kind of spilled the beans. Like, this is an actual song written by Tom and Trey. This is not a part of the Vocal Jam. So that was really the first set, just a lot of just straight ahead, let's go. You know, even the fluff head, the YEM had a kind of a strong fluff head feel to it. You know, then we got Esther in there, chalk dust, just burning it up. So after they burn up the room, they're played bouncing around the room. Like I said, they opened up with Jim and then Reba. There was a tease in there in Reba and YEM. I didn't write it down. I don't remember what it was. Maybe not the same tease even. I don't know what the YEM one was. I never could put my ear on it. And then as they open up the second set with the Sloth, Yamar with just an itty bitty jam, Split Open and Melt, you know, just the rockin' chaos as always, a real good Squirming Coil. And then we get through some other, you know, Cavern, Man Who Stepped Into Yesterday. But then Tweezer showing early on in 91, you know, it stayed within Tweezer, never really left, but quite the jam for those days. Not that they never ever did that in those years, but not often. A lot of times it was just the songs played straight through, and then they'd rip up maybe a song like Trey would hit a solo in YEM. But the Tweezer definitely, and Trey hit a solo in that for sure. But then they go into Okie Pa, Susie to end things. Then we get the Alumni Blues Jimmy Page with a horn. Oh, 1991 horn. Didn't even listen to it. Went right to the Alumni Blues Letter to Jimmy Page. Sorry to Page too. I apologize, Page. I know Paige loves horn, but so does Spud. Spud, a big horn guy. And now we also, like I said, we have a 1990 show. Perhaps I'll check that out. And then, you know, at the beginning of the second set, they had done some kind of car giveaway in Ithaca, apparently. And I don't know if it was just right before this show or what. And then they talked about the guy that got the car, then turned around and immediately sold it. Trey was reluctant to say the price. Fishman yells it out. $2,300 they got for that piece of shit, he says. And then there was another guy who wanted it, put down a deposit. Then he decided he didn't want the car, and he wanted his deposit back. But Fishman claims the owner of the car at that time had spent the deposit on dope, and there's a lawsuit that was now pending. So whoever got the car, I don't know what happened to it. It's 1991. I believe it was I looked somewhere. I saw somewhere when I was listening, reading about it. But anyways, it's probably not in existence now, but if it was, it would probably go for more than $2,300, I would have to believe. All right, guys, and you know, the audio on this, not bad at all, actually. Found it here from the Aquarium on YouTube. I'll put the link down below if you want to give it a listen. I'd definitely listen to the YEM and the Tweezer. Yeah. All right, guys, boom. Fishman said the guy spent the money on dope. I don't know about that. That's a heavy accusation from Fishman. What else would he have spent it on? Blow, man. What else?